I'm 230 miles west of the city of Cairo in Egypt, and I'm inside this specially constructed science dome. Now, spread out behind me are the sands of the Western Desert. I'm Laura Green. I'm in a place called the Bahariya Oasis. This is the Valley of the Golden Mummies. Now, it's literally the world's biggest graveyard, because buried underneath these sands are thousands of mummies, many of them with these incredible golden masks. We are gearing up for an unprecedented live television event. And there's a lot going on in here, as you can see. We've got guys setting up live cameras, we've got lights being rigged, equipment everywhere. Most importantly, though, we've got some of the world's top scientists and archaeologists getting ready to do live science, live experiments on what we find here tonight. We've got a mummy being reconstructed here. You can see that, and in fact, there's amazing masking, wrapping work here. Over here is a real-life 2,500-year-old mummy. We're going to do experiments on that as well. Most importantly, we're trying to piece together pieces of the puzzle, find out more about the incredible lives that the people lived here. This, in fact, was once a thriving hub, a central focus of the Roman and the Egyptian empires. So make sure you join me in 2 hours to kick off Egypt Week Live here on the Discovery Channel. We'll see you in just a bit. Stay tuned.
We are 230 miles southwest of Cairo, in Egypt's Western Desert, in the Bahariya Oasis, in the Valley of the Golden Mummies. It's a lot to say, but believe me when I tell you, it is a lot to see. Take a look out there. This endless expanse of Western Desert could well be the largest graveyard in the world. We're not sure yet, but a few years ago, mummies entombed underground were discovered literally right where these men are working behind me. They were excavated, and to the wonderment of all, many of them were shown and found to be wearing golden masks. Unprecedented. The residents of Bahariya, Roman Bahariya, 2,000 years or so ago, were a wealthy bunch. They lived like pharaohs, and they were buried like them. And out here in the desert, 10, 20, 40, maybe 50,000 tombs are lying there unopened, waiting to be explored. We're not going to wait anymore. Over here, some of the most renowned archaeologists and scientists in the world have gathered to examine the contents of these tombs. They're hard at work right now. If we go inside, we can take a look at some of what's going on. These are people who have dedicated their life to the science and to the archaeology at hand, and they have gathered. It's a remarkable sight. Out here in the desert itself is where the other part of the action is taking place. Right now, Egypt Week Live itself doesn't start for about another hour, but you can see the crews have gathered, the cameras are in place, people are coming in from all over. I don't know what in the world is being brought in right now, but it looks fascinating. We'll find out a little bit later, I suppose. Just to the left of that device is a room with an X-ray machine in it that you have... Look, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. The point is, we're getting very close to liftoff here. I say liftoff because as I look at that dome, it looks like the whole place is about to just take off, and who knows, it very well could. We're going to make some discoveries tonight. We're going underground with the world's preeminent archaeologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass, and you're going to see things that no other human eye has seen in 2,000 years. Be there for the Discovery Egypt Week Live in 1 hour. The sands of time have erased all but one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the pyramids at Giza. Staggering in size and stature, these monuments of ancient Egypt are still watched over by the imposing presence of the Sphinx. The head and body of the Sphinx were carved from a single piece of limestone, and it survived over 4,500 years. Today, it still stands as a testament to the powerful dynasties that once ruled Egypt.
But all this week on the Discovery Channel, we're leaving these more familiar sites behind. We're heading instead to Egypt's Western Desert. We are going to take you live to the Valley of the Golden Mummies. It's a place where wine once flowed, the rich and powerful ruled, and amazingly, many of Egypt's treasures lie not above the ground, but are still buried beneath the sand.
Welcome to Egypt Week Live in the Valley of the Golden Mummies. We're now 230 miles southwest of Cairo. We're in the middle of the desert. It's 3 a.m. It's cold, and we're loving every minute of it. I'm Mike Rowe.
We are indeed, and I am Laura Green. Now, we are standing in what's got to be one of the world's largest graveyards, because beneath the sand surrounding us are literally tens of thousands of mummies, many of them covered in gold. Now, tonight, live, we are going to be going inside a new, previously sealed tomb and looking for some of these amazing golden mummies.
When you do things live, it's another way of saying you're not really 100% sure of exactly how it's going to turn out. But that's okay. We have excellent reasons to be very optimistic that something extraordinary is going to happen. And here's why. If you look behind me, you'll see that we have constructed a science dome in the middle of the desert. And inside the dome, take a look around. An expert international team of scientists and archaeologists. We have state-of-the-art equipment everywhere, technology at every turn, artifacts that have been recovered from beneath the sand, and it's all happening for one simple reason. The preeminent archaeologist on the planet is here with us, Dr. Zahi Hawass.
Mike, how are you?
Wonderful to see you. First
Thank
of all,
you.
Congratulations on such a wonderful team.
Thank you very much. I'm really proud to have more than Egyptian scientists in X-rays, radar, sampling, architects, archaeologists, and also helping some foreign colleagues in doing some identification of artifacts.
Please tell me, I mean, when people think of Egypt, you know, the pyramids, the Sphinx, a lot of things come to mind. Why is the Valley of the Golden Mummies so important?
The Valley of the Golden Mummies is important because of gold and mummies, and also the largest cemetery ever found in anywhere in the world. It's a cemetery that's large, about 10 kilometers, full of 10,000 mummies.
Mummies live in tombs. The tombs are everywhere, and tonight you're going to experience the thrill of actually going into one and discovering its contents for the first time. The plan is pretty simple. Yeah, which is why I've dressed the part as best I can. You're going to take me on a tour starting now.
Let's go.
And you're in charge.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.
Boys,
You will.
take care and good
Bye-bye.
luck. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
later. We, though, are staying in here, as we said, with all of these incredible scientists. Now, over the last couple of weeks, Egyptian archaeologists have been hard at work analysing some of the bones and mummies that they found here on the site. And working alongside them, Professor Margaret Cox. Now, she is essentially a bone detective, and she's been unearthing some pretty interesting mysteries.
The Valley of the Golden Mummies has been used as a burial place by so many people for so long that remains from surface burials can be found everywhere. Bone expert Margaret Cox has been hard at work collecting samples for analysis in the dome.
This really is quite extraordinary. We're just surrounded by human remains everywhere you walk. You've got hands and a lump of somebody's chest back there with desiccated muscle tissue and connective tissue, ligaments and things like that. It's absolutely extraordinary.
Margaret's trained eye can reveal the human story behind these scattered bones.
Well, in the first few minutes, and already we're seeing something interesting going on with this woman's skull. And not an old woman when she died, over 25 probably, but not that much more.
The erosion of the bone around the nose and the roof of the mouth suggest leprosy.
We've also got dental disease, we've got a dental abscess in there. Most interesting of all is every indication that this person's life was ended fairly brutally. We know that because these fracture lines are very, very smooth, radiating out from the edges of force. They reflect the angles of force.
Could it be this young woman was murdered?
And we not only have that very skull you just saw in the package there, but we have Professor Cox right here. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you.
Now, is this a murder victim we're looking at?
Well, it could be. As you saw just now, the fractures suggest that this happened around the time of death, and it could well have been inflicted by a blow to the head, but we also have to consider that she could have fallen and hit her head on a rock. So,
Now, how do you know this happened at the time of death?
because of the way the fractures radiate out following the lines of force from the lesion itself. And we've also got this other skull here where this is much more clear evidence of violence, because you've got a blade injury here and another another one
I'll let
there.
you lift it up because you have the gloves, but
Yeah.
let's just show the camera there.
Yeah, what you've got is this blade injury just following along here, and again, radiating fracture going off there, but another blade injury just there. And we've even got the little fragment of
Wow,
bone that came
look
out
at
from
that.
inside.
So again, cause of death here?
Oh, absolutely, no question, the blow to the head. Two of them died from the blow to the head.
But the first skull we looked at, there was something else that you found that was interesting about this, didn't
Yes,
you?
well, she almost certainly had leprosy, and that we can tell from the lesions at the bottom of the nose, where what we call the nasal sill and the nasal spine have been completely resorbed. But what's interesting is that very often, especially around this time, we know from Testament in the Bible, for example, that lepers were segregated. Now, she clearly wasn't segregated in death, even if she was in life. So I think that may tell us something about society.
So there could indeed be the link between the disease that you can see there on the bones and the way that perhaps she died if this was an inflicted wound?
It could be, who knows?
Okay.
You know, it's a job to get into the minds of these people.
Well, lots of lessons to be learnt, the stories to be told from the bones. You're
Yeah.
sticking with us because there's more to find out, obviously, as the
There
night
certainly
progresses.
is.
But in the meantime, let's check in again with Zahi and Mike. They're just near us outside the dome now.
Laura, thanks. This is just so incredible. I mean, normally when you see sand, you think of the beach, but as far as you can see back here, this desert spreads out, and everywhere, tombs seem to be appearing. What are we looking at
Yeah,
here?
this is really one tomb, and look, there is a skeleton here. But this skeleton looks very strange because I have never seen
You are getting in
a
the tomb.
skeleton like this. If you look at the bones here,
Yeah.
it's very fragile. We were really planning to take this to X-ray, but this part is very difficult to take out. It looks like someone has deformatives, but look at this, it's sealed. I mean, there is something important
I don't know
inside.
if you can see this. Come on over here and take a look at this, because you can see right here where the opening is.
It's completely sealed.
Yeah, this
they
was a-
put the mummy inside and they sealed this place.
That is incredible. So
And-
this is not a tomb we can go in tonight because the skeleton
Because the
needs to be
skeleton,
removed.
but this is, you have to imagine, it was sealed since 2,000 years ago. What's inside? It should be mummies.
Nobody knows, but we saw some other things over here walking too. If you don't mind, I'm just going to follow the doctor.
Come with me.
He tends to run when he gets excited, which is always kind of exciting. What do you have here?
That's also a unique mummy, because look what has this mummy. It's
These are feet.
It's very strange because the lower part, the legs are in one side, and guess what's here?
I'm guessing the head and torso.
But this I have never seen with all what we found, a mummy buried like that. Why, I cannot tell you.
Do you think any time later this week we'll be able to see some of these?
Of course, we will, because the excavation is going on, and therefore we will excavate this part, will go down, and we will go behind that, and we'll be able to take the mummy out. But look, it's completely mummified.
Right, I
and
get it,
it's-
but the fact that they're everywhere is just a trip. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Mike, mummies everywhere. The Valley of the Golden
What's
Mummies.
over there?
Okay, I will take you.
By the way, I love these lights. We've got these helium lights installed everywhere so we can see a little bit better. But this is just, it's literally right under the surface.
This is a unique mummy. You know why?
Why?
Because this man seems to me that he died quickly. He did not have the time to cut a tomb in the rock, but he is mummified. And therefore, I don't think that he's poor to cut a tomb for himself, because the mummy is well mummified.
So did they made their own tombs before they...
This, Mike, this cemetery is unique because it has upper class, middle class, lower class. The golden mummies, we found more than 234 mummies, and now we are continuing the excavation to find more. But I stopped the excavation 2 years ago.
Where can we... Why did you stop 2 years ago
You know,
and start again?
I thought the 234 mummies could really actually give me an idea to reconstruct life of the people who lived in this area in the time of the Greco-Roman period. But I found the material that they have are not enough.
What can we open tonight that's never
Tonight-
been seen?
Tonight you are going to see incredible things. Mummies covered with gold, and sealed, and tombs completely sealed.
Get out of here.
And I will show you something like that.
All
Come
right,
with me.
I'm going to follow you. Sorry about that, cameraman. Watch that first step. It's a tomb. Is it up here? You got a little chandelier hanging over a hole in the ground. You hardly ever see that anymore.
But look, Mike, here. This tomb is really unique, and I can smell. Can you smell sand?
I'm glad you
can
said that. I
smell
didn't know.
that when we open this, a new life. First of all, you will be in history because you will witness, maybe for the first time in your life, opening the seals and try to enter inside and see the unknown.
Let me just get this straight. We're going down this hole, we're going to open one of these doors, and you're going to let me perhaps go in and see what's happening.
But look what we have. We have this completely sealed. And it seems to me something important because the ceiling in the two sides of these two shafts looks to me that there's something should be important inside.
Right now, we have to check in with the science team after we take a break to find out exactly why we chose this tomb. But one thing is for sure, by the end of tonight's show, you're going to lay eyes on something that no other eyes have seen in over 2,000 years. And that's pretty cool. Stick around. We'll be back at the Valley of the Golden Mummies. Unbelievable, Doctor.
Searching for the golden mummies with ground-penetrating radar when Egypt Week Live continues next.
Welcome back to Egypt Week Live. You are looking at live pictures of the outside and now the inside of our science dome here in the middle of the desert. Now, right before the break, you saw Mike and Zahi on the surface of the tomb that we are going into live tonight, hopefully seeing some of those fantastic golden mummies. But you know, there's a lot of desert out there, so how do you decide where to start looking?
Using clues like depressions in the sand and bones on the surface, the team picked two spots to start digging. Just steps from the dome, one of these excavations has vertical shaft tombs.
There are about 7 of these openings just here.
Yes.
It's really exciting. I can't imagine how many people must be buried here. It's just cut vertically down, but you've got a little niche over here.
Yes, the vertical shaft with 4 niches containing the mummies.
The other type of tomb has steps down into a chamber.
Oh, and just over there, he's uncovering
All right. So,
a piece.
I think it's his skull. It's broken.
Hakim thinks the skull was broken by thieves looking for gold. Basic clues got the dig off to a good start, and next, high technology helps us narrow our search.
And she's with me now. Meg Waters is a geophysicist. So, Meg, basically, you're looking for holes in the ground, right?
We are looking for holes in the ground, but we're looking for holes that we can't actually see on the surface.
Now, what is the science behind that?
Well, what we're doing is we're using ground-penetrating radar that's led by Dr. Halal, one of the SCA operators. And we've gone out and we've done some work together surveying. And initially, we've done some survey over the tombs, the shaft tombs that are going to be opened tonight. And the purpose of doing that is to see not only where there are other shafts that we can't see on the ground surface that's been cleared, but also how many burials are off of each of the shafts.
Wow, so your work has accurately helped pinpoint where to start looking tonight,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And these are pictures that you took today?
Yes, they are. Actually, we were out this morning collecting some data, and what you see is the actual ground-penetrating radar unit. This is the antenna. The antenna shoots a signal into the ground. It's non-invasive, and we look vertically straight down like we're slicing through the bedrock. So as this travels along the ground, we can see the bedrock, we can see any tombs, we can see any sand, voids, anything that's down there.
Now, is this new technology?
The technology isn't very new. It's about 30, 40 years old, but it's the software that's bringing it to the forefront, making it more interesting images that we can see and more information.
So where do we go next? I mean, how do we find out just how vast this graveyard is?
Right, well, that's a big challenge because it's a huge area. We have a couple of kilometers that we're actually looking at. This morning, we took a couple of transects and we shot straight off north across the desert for about 200, 250 meters. We found some very interesting features.
There's plenty more to find out,
Yes,
and there's plenty
there
more
is.
we'll be finding out in the
Yes,
next few days,
yes,
of course.
there
Meg,
is.
thank you so much. But right now, we want to
Certainly.
check back in with Mike and Zahi.
Thanks, Laura. Right now you're looking at the entrance to the tomb, I guess you could say, that started everything. This was the first excavation here in the Valley of the Golden Mummies. Zahi's opened it right now. He's going in and I'm following.
Actually, Mike, this is my favorite tomb here. You
Why
know
is that?
Why? Because it has everything. Beautiful mummies covered with gold, cartoonage. Look at this mummy of a lady, and look at her child is upon her. Every mummy here can tell us a story. a story of the life of the people, of a man or a woman. And even artifacts, like this type of artifacts for the god Bes. He was the main god.
Bes was the god of pleasure.
And fun.
One of my favorite gods.
Because he was drinking wine. You know, this place was the most important place for wine. It was the Naba Valley of Egypt.
Wow.
And we have other important artifacts.
Hold on. I have to. This is actually a golden mummy here.
That's a mummy that covered with gold. Look at the face. The gold is shining, and this place or the chest has no gold, but actually this gold is more shiny. And you have the first one there. It also has gold in it.
These people must have been millionaires to be covered in gold.
Because they were merchants selling wine. The wine in Bahria better than your California wine in that time.
That's pretty good,
but
I'm sure.
Actually, look at this a statue of a lady, but she represents fertility because of the way that is shown with her breast is up, and they show the fertility for the afterlife.
And okay, so were these people all related?
Of course, this is one family and a large family, but I would like to show you other. We found necklaces and artifacts, and that is a necklace made of pottery and amulets, and everywhere in every mummy of a lady, you'll find a bracelet or a necklace or something like that.
May I touch this?
You want to wear it or touch it?
I just want to touch it and ask you what it's for. What did you use these for?
It's made of pottery. And it was in the neck of the lady like this.
And that's exactly where you found
and
it.
She will have it like this, then she can wear it in the afterlife.
Who's over here in the middle?
That should be, in my opinion, the head of the family. He's a very important man, and therefore they saved the middle of the tomb to be for him. And all these mummies, look everywhere. I feel and I believe that mummification here was done in a best way, because even better than the mummies that's covered with gold. They're in a good condition. They are everywhere. This is a child mummy.
Right.
And look at this artifact.
What is that?
Look at the beauty of it, Mike. It shows this lady dressed in Greek as if she's getting out for the resurrection. She is protected, actually, by two snakes as shapes of kings of Upper and Lower Egypt in an Egyptian temple. And that's, Mike, what we call the unification of between Greek, between Roman, between Pharaonic. And that's really what's unique about this site.
Listen, these mummies in their natural state are so beautiful in such an unusual way. Until you've seen a golden mummy cleaned up and displayed in its true splendor, you really can't appreciate what we're talking about. Take a look at this. Only a handful of these rare and precious golden mummies have ever been found. Each mask a unique portrait of a long-forgotten person who once lived here. Men, women, and children, side by side, preserved forever in gilded eternity.
You know, they really are extraordinary, and golden or not, every mummy has a story to tell. You know, all this week, our Egyptian team has been hard at work bringing mummies up from the tomb that you just saw and bringing them to our X-ray facility right here on the site. Basically, what we're trying to do is unravel the stories beneath the wrapping of these mummies. Now, stick around, because when we come back, we're going to be bringing some of those stories to you.
What are you going to show us next?
Before we'll open this unique tomb, the surprise of tonight, that everyone should wait for it, I'm going to take you to a tomb. It's very special. Maybe there is a curse in this tomb. It has been seen in a television before.
No one has seen this?
Never.
Well, that's intriguing. That's where we're headed right now. Laura's standing by in the Science Dome. Laura, are you there?
I am here indeed. We're back in the Science Dome. We have Professor Margaret Cox, and we're also joined by Ayman Ahmed. Now, look, we've got X-rays here, and these come from a facility right here on the site. That's right, isn't it, Margaret?
It is. Our colleagues have set up a temporary X-ray facility, and that allows us to see inside the bone a lot more detail than we can see with the naked eye.
And it's right here?
Just outside.
So obviously, the mummies can be picked up, lifted,
They can.
and
It's going to be so
useful. Okay. Now, Ayman, I'd like you to tell me about these two X-rays here, what they represent.
The first one for a woman with a healed fracture in her left humerus, but which is an indicator for good medicine at this time. Second one for a man, his left tibia, also with a fracture, but healed fracture, but doesn't in the main direction. But he received medical care. Yes.
Margaret, I think we have the bone, don't we?
We do.
In fact, let's have a look at that.
This is the lower left leg bone, and what we see there is what we can see on the X-ray. And these two bones have healed, but they've overlapped.
Right.
Now, this probably is one half of what we call a spiral fracture, where you turn your foot and both of the lower legs break. And the reason we think that is because if you had the fibula intact, it would have acted as a splint and stopped some at least of this overlap.
Now, what about this woman's arm, though? Because you were telling me earlier, this has healed pretty well.
It's healed very well, but I mean, what we understand from all of the sources from this period is that the level of understanding of how to deal with fractures is actually very good.
So quite a sophisticated medical support
I mean,
system.
they've had thousands of years of developing their anatomical understanding and how to deal with basic conditions, and lots
information about different treatments for different areas of the body that weren't working the way they should.
And
so
perhaps an indication that
the society right here around Bahariya was pretty developed, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, we have a third X-ray here. As you can see, it's two sides of a skull. Now, this really does have an intriguing story behind it. Have a look at this.
Margaret Cox and Caroline Barker, our bone experts, are searching underground for insights into the lives of the ordinary people of Roman Bahariya.
Oh, wow, look at these.
Deep beneath the surface, they find a veritable storehouse of skeletons, what's left of mummies buried here long ago.
We've got a lovely group here, Caroline, haven't we? I mean, they could potentially tell us quite a lot about lifestyle and life history.
And have a quick look at the teeth.
Their teeth tell a story of a hard life and miserable diet.
But look at that calculus, that plug.
Oh, a really, really interesting feature on this cheekbone here.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's distorted, but healed.
The skull of one of the male mummies has a horrific injury to the cheekbone that healed during his lifetime. Margaret suspects that this is the skeleton of a warrior.
What would be really interesting, Caroline, is to see if the individual with the fractured cheekbone has also got parifractures on their lower arm, to see if they were actually fighting or you know, perhaps being a bit of a victim within that group. And we can lift some of this and have a proper look at it up at the top.
And we have that very skeleton right here in our science dome. This is it, right, Margaret?
It is, and again, you know, just to recap, this is the fractured cheekbone that we saw the great X-ray of.
Now, what would have caused a fracture like that? Can you tell by just looking at the skull?
Not for sure, but the most likely cause is that somebody thumped him in the face. And when we look at the rest of the skeleton, there's absolutely no other evidence of trauma, so no parifractures, which was one of the things we thought we might find.
What else can you tell from this skeleton just by looking at it?
Well, you've got what looks to be a relatively healthy male who was not very young, but equally sort of no more than middle age at the most. No evidence of disease or anything.
So pretty healthy. I mean, right away, these look like long limbs to me. Is that right?
Reasonably, yeah. I'm a sort of average height.
Quite a
healthy male.
fit person. Yeah. And again, now we've seen this skull again before, but I want to come back to it because we're looking here at signs. We've seen some fractures. We've seen some signs of conflict.
We have. We keep on seeing evidence that suggests, in this case, interpersonal violence, which could be domestic, it could be a Friday night brawl, but this sort of thing, this is a weapon blow, well, in fact, two weapon blows, and suggests something a bit more serious.
Well, of course, this is an area where there was a lot to fight about, because here in Bahariya there was water, and water meant wealth, both for the ancient Egyptians and then later for the Roman Empire. This, in fact, was a fertile valley. Have a look at this.
In 30 BC, Egypt became part of the Roman Empire, an empire that stretched from Britain to Africa. This long-forgotten fort, El Haiz, was at the center of the Roman province of Bahariya. Its mission, to defend the western frontier from Libyan invasion. Bahariya was a thriving oasis along a major trade route. Its proximity to water meant wealth, so the region enjoyed a booming economy. The Romans had long had a fascination with Egypt, quickly embracing its culture. But they also brought their own influences, including the latest technology to produce the finer things in life, like wine. This is the press that produced the finest wines of Roman Egypt. The grapes were crushed by feet in the upper tanks, and the juice flowed by the force of gravity into the lower tanks for settlement and fermentation. This dusty landscape might look like Death Valley now, but in its day, it was the Napa Valley of Egypt. They prospered here for 400 years, but by the 5th century after Christ, the people of this region were ultimately defeated by a force greater than the Roman Empire, the desert.
Well, you know, it may have been the desert that wiped these people out, but ironically, it's that same force that helped preserve them. In fact, we hope it helped preserve them so well that Zahi reckons that's going to help us find something pretty amazing tonight, right, Mike?
I just hope it helps preserve the two of us. Zahi is halfway down the ladder. I'm right behind him. This is tomb number 4, correct?
Yeah.
All right, and I've got my helmet cam on, Laura, with my fancy light and my camera as well, so it should be fun.
Well, look, we're all looking forward to seeing what you're going to find out down there. Are you looking forward to this?
I think it's going to be fun.
Okay.
Zahi, after you.
Follow me.
Good
Please
luck.
stick around, folks. What you're going to see down here has never been seen on camera before. I certainly haven't seen it, and I'm all a tingle. We'll be back. The Valley of the Golden Mummies. Stay with us.
Are you ready to get in, Mike?
Well, here's something you don't see every day. I'm in a tomb. Doctor, this is unbelievable. Now, let me just set the stage right now. When you come down a shaft like this, at least in this type of tomb, you're immediately confronted with 4 different doorways. Take a look. When I looked in this first doorway, I hope you can see it.
No, this is a kind of a tomb. It's really well cut with pillars and has some mummies in the niches here. And you have also a niche here with mummies. And with a coffin, look at this pottery coffin.
Right.
And there's bones here. And behind you.
Look at that. Can you guys see in there?
Yeah.
We've got a mummy and a coffin and all these bones around here.
And look behind you, Mike.
Behind you. You're going to make me turn around in this thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
look also. There is more mummies here.
Unbelievable. They're stacked up on each other like that?
But Mike, wait for the interesting one.
The interesting one.
Which is we're going to get in now.
We're going in now.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to follow
ready?
you. Yes,
Follow me.
indeed. I'm following the doctor. Holy cow, look at this. Wow. Are you kidding
Now,
me?
we have, you know how many mummies here?
Well,
we
let's
have
see.
9 mummies. Actually, 9 mummies. And my favorite, Mike,
Yes.
is this one.
This one right here?
This one here.
Oh, look, you can see the
I mean,
gold
if I
underneath.
if I go and clean it now, I can really show you the face. I think you should really see the face now.
Really?
What? Don't worry.
You're going to go over there, doctor?
Don't worry. But look, it's gold. It's golden face. It's really beautiful. I want you to look at it and see the beauty of the face and the eyes and the lips and it's.
Could we actually take this out later in the week, doctor? Clean it up and analyze it?
You know, we X-rayed more than 30 mummies now, and that one we're going to move it, and Wednesday we'll know a lot about this man. Maybe, I don't know, is a man or a woman. He looks to me like a man. But we can know the study of X-ray tells us about diseases and things like that. But you are imagining yourself now in this tomb that has this beautiful 9 mummies. And everyone had a story in his life.
All right, look. What does it feel like to come down here for the first time? To look in here for the first time? And I mean, really, the last eyes that looked at this shut permanently 2,000 years ago.
You know, Mike, I always say to people, that the passion that I have, I cannot explain to you. The minute when I discover a statue or I discover a tomb, that passion, you can see it. Or the audience can see it, but not me. I never tried to explain my feeling when I tried to enter a tomb for the first time and discover mummies or even a pyramid. In my lifetime, I found two small pyramids of queens, statues, things like that. To explain it, Howard Carter himself, who found the tomb of King Tut
back in 1920,
November 4th, 1922. He never explained to us exactly the feeling when he entered the first time inside the tomb of King Tut.
All right, listen, we have to conduct some x-rays up in the dome. In 10 seconds, is there really a Pharaoh's mummy's curse? I mean, it's probably too late to ask.
You know, Mike, first of all, the curse never come to me. It will come to you, because you accompany me. But I will tell you quickly about the curse. The Egyptian leaf inscriptions say, if you will touch my tomb, you will be eaten by a crocodile, the hippo online. But actually, what really caused the curse, if you close this room for 3,000 years ago, the mummies make germs that you cannot see. If you open the tomb right away, the germs will hit you and you die. And this is why I always tell people, you never shave.
Oh, I didn't shave today, so that's good. I just thought it'd make me look rugged.
You know,
listen, we have to take a break. Laura, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm coming out of the tomb, and then we're going into another one soon.
If you come out of the tomb, safe.
I can hear you, Mike. And in fact, we're going to give you a few moments just to get out of that tomb.
I appreciate it.
Laura should be with us here.
Laura, did you hear that?
I did, and I think that I should too. Well, I'm going to come and join you in a little while. How's that?
Good enough.
Yeah? But meantime, we're back up here in the Science Dome. Look, one of the reasons that these mummies that you've just seen in the tomb now are so fantastically preserved is the intricate way in which they've been wrapped. Now, when we come back from the break, you're going to get a chance to see firsthand a recreation of that process going on right here in the Science Dome, so don't go away.
Discover the unique history of the Bahariya Oasis, home of the Golden Mummies, when Egypt Week Live continues next.
Next, as Egypt Week continues, she was the most powerful woman of her time. Now re-examine a vicious power struggle that led to the demise of Cleopatra. Follow a top investigator and an international team of experts as they apply modern-day CSI techniques to solve an ancient mystery.
Did she really commit suicide, or was it possibly a homicide?
A 2,000-year-old cover-up is exposed on the mysterious death of Cleopatra. Next, as Egypt Week continues on the Discovery Channel.
Welcome back inside the Science Dome at Egypt Week Live. I'm Laura Green. Now, material scientist Dana Goodburn Brown has spent weeks recreating this incredibly intricate wrapping on this mummy. Let's take a little look behind the scenes, first of all, at her in action.
So first I have to get the linen, dye the linen to the correct colors, then tear the linen into strips. I fold it, I iron it. It took 32 hours to iron the linen, just for this one mummy. And I was using a modern iron. Can you imagine using a stone? And they would have had stones you heat by the fire. I'm experimenting with different types of adhesives. I'm trying some gum arabic, some general animal glue. And having been to the Oasis, I found that apricot tree resin worked really well. The initial stage of wrapping takes 2 people, 10 hours in this case. I can never say for sure this is the way they did it, but it certainly points you in the right direction.
Dana, this is an incredible piece of work. How did you get around to doing this in the first place? What led you to this?
Oh, thank you very much. Well, when I was asked to consider taking on this project for this week, I was really excited because it's wonderful to have the opportunity to come look at the original mummies and then experiment with the materials. And I've been reading up about how it might have been done and what kind of analysis has been done in museums. And then I'm experimenting with the materials.
So how accurate a replica is this?
Well, I've had to cut some corners by using pins occasionally, but I have also used original, the type of adhesives they would have used. So it's, you know, it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I heard you say earlier, actually, a couple of days ago, that this is some sort of akin to an American patchwork quilt, isn't it? I mean, this is amazingly
The effect is quite like that, but it's actually made up of individual strips. We worked out that you create a square, you have your square in the center, and then you put patterns of linen around each side of the square and build it up.
So what about the dyes and so on? Is that...
Oh, well, that's one area I didn't use traditional techniques on. But,
well, you have to cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, look, what's the scientific application of this? What's the background of this? What's it going to help us learn?
The thing is that by understanding the way people worked and the materials they used, and really getting close to the manufacturers in the sense of trying it out and seeing how materials work, and then when we analyze materials that come from excavations and we know where they've come from, you can start to identify perhaps the workshops, the actual practice of individual workshops, and also what people where use which materials, and so you can understand trade.
It's another part of this whole puzzle of learning how people went about mummification in the first place and what tools were available to them.
Yeah.
More of the history. Well, it's an interesting part, and Dana, hopefully we'll be talking to you later.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the rest of it. Okay, it's exciting times building up because Mike and Zahi are right at the edge of that tomb. Let's go straight over to them now. Mike?
I'm absolutely having the time of my life here. Zahi, you saw the tomb we just came out of. This is what that tomb would have looked like, I guess, right after you discovered it, right?
Yes,
So
it's completely sealed.
So we've got a sealed shaft.
Yeah.
So that's basically what you do. You hop in, you've got these 4 entranceways.
That's...
And you just start...
Mike, you're going to be an archaeologist, we'll teach you.
Well, the least I can do is help you with some of the rocks. So you just hop in and you start swinging the hammer?
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Good grief. So what, is this all like limestone?
Mansour. Yeah.
You know what, if there were more room, I'd come down and give you a hand, but unfortunately, Doctor, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting. Good grief. This guy is too much. Look at you. Good grief. Don't have to work out tonight. So you're digging in a little bit further?
I'm digging it now. I'm trying to open it. I hope, Mike, that you're here, you can get the curse. Because you remember, the curse will never touch me.
Yes, you seem fairly impervious to just about everything, Doctor. Anything?
Yeah, we are still taking the sand.
All right. And it all just falls away like that. That's amazing. Is he always like this, Mansour? Yeah. Work, work, work? All right. This is great. Where's that pole cam? I had a little camera around here on the end of a pole. That's what I gotta get. Closer?
Still sealed inside more.
It's still sealed more on the inside?
More on the inside seems to be very important.
How long does it normally take to get through a seal like that?
Sometimes quickly, it depends on how it's sealed. But here, it's really completely sealed.
Huh.
It's completely sealed. This will take time.
All right.
Maybe we can leave this for Wednesday. And
Well,
let
I
us
tell
see
you
this.
what.
Let us see this one.
All right, well, Doctor, you work on that one as well. I mean, it's kind of the fun of live TV. We do have to take a commercial, so we'll
No, that one we can see.
That one you can see?
Yeah.
All righty, well, he's going to dig out the rest of the sand. We're going to take a quick break. Oh, there you are, way up there. And we will be back from the Valley of the Golden Mummies with something brand new to show you. Stay with us. Doctor, don't make me come down.
There's a beautiful mummy inside.
Really?
Yeah.
How long it takes?
And we are back, and we are still
Mike.
digging the fun of live television. What do you got, Doctor?
The other one seems sealed to me.
Right.
But look, I found at the entrance of this tomb only a skull. A skull. هات الفرش the brush.
The brush, the brush.
That skull is at the entrance of the tomb.
Yeah.
You know, we did not open other 2 areas that's sealed now. I will leave this skull as it is here. Maybe we'll take it for the X-ray. Take it for the X-ray. Okay, do X-ray and tell us about this guy. Now,
Unbelievable.
look what we see here, Mike.
You got more? What do you got, Doc?
Inside that sealed one, I see a mummy inside and also bones on the other side. It seemed that this man was not really well mummified, but I see in the corner, have you seen? Do you see this or not? In the corner,
Yeah.
that here, pointing with my camera, you see in the corner there is at least 2 skulls and the part of mummies and bones in this side and bones in the other side.
Who might this be, Zahi?
Those could be middle-class people, in my opinion. And look, the tomb inside is not excavated. Means that there is mummies actually are under the sand here. Then when we'll excavate this tomorrow morning, and maybe on Wednesday, we can see what's inside here, what's inside this, and the other 2 shafts here.
That sounds perfect. Well, we've got our work cut out for us for the next couple of days. Right now, we're going to take a quick look at what is coming up tomorrow. There you are. We're headed across the valley. Take a look at this. We'll be back to say goodbye in 1 second. Don't go away. Keep digging, Doctor.
Well, the Valley of the Golden Mummy site is on the edge of the desert. Our other site, at Sheikh Sobi, is in the center of the bustling oasis town of Bawiti. High on a hilltop among mud brick houses, the land beneath Sheikh Sobi is riddled with tunnels and tombs, each one potentially lethal. These burial chambers belong to a family dynasty of governors and high priests, a ruling elite who controlled trade and taxes 500 years before the birth of Christ. But not all of the tombs of this family have been found. Sheben Kansu, a man as powerful as a pharaoh, is still missing. A mystery lost beneath the sand.
The mummies are inside, but you have the skull with linen. But Mike,
yes,
I would like to give it to Laura. Then we can.
Yes. That's what being an old friend does for you. Thank you, Zahi.
A lovely party
Look
gift.
at that. You see, I've been stuck indoors all evening, so
Well,
now
here,
I get the final
have a
prize
squat.
treat.
Stay down here
All
with
right,
us. It's
come on,
kind of
I'll get
nice
my
down here
trousers.
in the
This is a
sand.
Christmas gift, Laura.
Thank you so much, Zahi. I'll have to find one for you. This is fantastic. Hasn't this been an incredible night?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And you know, it's not the end, it's the beginning.
We're going to be here all week long with your permission and your company. We're going to go to Sheikh Sobi tomorrow.
Tomorrow it's going to be fun.
And we're going down.
Back here again.
Thrill. I bet you it will be thrill.
It will.
But
It's
you have to
gonna
make
be-
insurance before you get them. Come on.
I know. Look, and then we're coming back here again on Wednesday.
We'll be back here on Wednesday.
Exactly.
And
You
who
can know
knows?
about the other shots.
That's right.
There is 2 still sealed.
And who knows what we'll
For
find on
Dr.
Wednesday.
Hawass, for Laura Green, for me, and
And
for
from the-
our friend Yurick. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you again tomorrow night.
Earlier tonight, we entered this underground burial chamber on live television. It was an extraordinary moment. The findings are being analyzed even as we speak. Tomorrow night, the adventure continues. We're heading across the valley in search of the missing tomb of the last Egyptian-born governor.
Could one of these tunnels hold the fabled remains of Sheb Kansu? Be there at the moment of discovery. I'm Mike Rowe, and Egypt Week Live continues tomorrow night at 8, only on the Discovery Channel.